It may be time to legalize drugs in the United States. That from one of the main critics of the war on drugs, who says it's a war that simply cannot be won. So how would legalization solve the problem? Here's the Fox Report's chief correspondent, Trace Gallagher.
In the cover story in this month's Foreign Policy magazine, Ethan Nadelman calls the war on drugs a failure, saying that after spending hundreds of billions of dollars trying to stem the flow of drugs into the U.S., cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine are now cheaper, purer, and easier to get than ever. Nadelman says it's time to end the debate and open a dialogue.
Keep in mind, it's not as if it's just an either-or alternative. There's prohibition over here and legalization over here, but it may well be that something in the middle will be the optimal policy.
Point by point, Nadelman attacks U.S. drug policy, saying a drug-free world is no more attainable than an alcohol-free world. He says despite the U.S. jailing more people on drug charges than Western Europe jails on all charges, drug use on both sides of the pond is about the same. He argues that sky-high demand will continue fueling a deadly chain of supply. His bottom line is his article's top line, that prohibition has failed again.
A sensible regulatory policy can be more effective than prohibition, not just in reducing crime, violence, corruption, disease, but also in reducing the misuse of the drug.
My good friend Ethan suggests perhaps we should treat methamphetamine like alcohol, as though people were going to be swilling Chardonnay on the veranda and taking a little methamphetamine on the side. That's not what actually happens.
Murray points out there are many legal drugs that pose as many legal problems.
There's still violence, there's still theft. People are knocking over pharmacies with guns to get the substance. It's being stolen. It is leading to destroyed and ruined lives, and yet it's legal and prescribable.
Legalized drug group here, Trace, believe they have a chance?
Now, not widespread, Shep, but let's face it, that's political suicide. They'd never get any support in Congress. But, marijuana is almost legal in a lot of states. You've got medicinal marijuana, a lot of states where if you have a small amount of pot, it's simply an infraction. So if they were going to really push this movement, they would start there with marijuana. They may get some support. If, in fact, they can slowly legalize that, it's kind of see how it goes and move on from there. But as far as cocaine and heroin, probably not in our lifetime.
Forget about it. Trace Gallagher, thanks.